Exciting time. So once you've got that beautiful new dream home, of course, you want to put in a braai and you want to make a steak. So you can fill the house with these beautiful scents. Abigail Donnelly, our Woolworths creative and trend director.
Oh, that sounds very posh.
It is very corporate sounding, but she is, of course, a born and bred foodie who has a mastery of the flavors in a way that you seem to come up with things where it's like a genius light bulb moment. So we know the steaks are good.
Yes,
we know
especially
that
these bone-in
sirloin. A sirloin with the bone in, the amount
Beautiful.
of flavor that you're going to get out of it with the fat there to render, it is insane. So now we're combining it with one of my favorite things. I love a good relish or a good pickle. A bit of an old school English vibe there.
Definitely, that's where I
But
get
now
it
we are
from.
doing something quite, I haven't seen it before. Do you say it's natural?
Well, there's nothing really as beautiful as a flavor marriage is Piccalilli and a cold roast beef sandwich left over from Sunday lunch. So what I've done is kind of just turned it on its head and made a Piccalilli butter for this beautiful bride steak. So what I'm doing here is I love either duck fat or ghee, because the smoking point is so high and also gives it a really nice crust and caramelization.
It's going to really seal in that moisture as well.
So there's very little, obviously with ghee, the whey has been taken away, so it's pure fat and much higher smoking point than an olive oil, for instance.
And remember, we're obviously not wanting the fat to be absorbed. We're using it there to flavor the meat, to seal in the moisture, to seal in the flavor, most importantly.
So I'm going to pop it on here, nice hot braai.
And you've literally just put that on moments before we've done the steak. You won't be marinating a steak like this.
No,
you want to
not
keep
at all. I don't even put salt and pepper. If anything, maybe some pepper. But you can do that all afterwards, because these are so beautifully aged. You want to really get the flavor of the meat.
Steak is the
and
hero.
the salt will help at the end, just to bring it at the full-on flavour.
Oh, I love
so then
it.
what I've got here, all I've
really.
done is, Woolworths doesn't call it Piccalilli, but they call it gherkin relish, and it's very, very similar. Nice and tangy and sweet and pickly. And all I've done is
a nice chunkiness to it as
well.
well.
So I've just put it in the blender, not to make it smooth, but just to take it down a little bit and blended it with beautiful butter.
Wonderful.
I never really roll it fancy, but if you want discs like this, like restaurant style, you can. I just make it a whole lot, put it in the fridge, and take a big spoonful once it's kind of set and onto the hot
this
steak.
is quite nice if you want to package it as well and store it in the freezer.
Exactly.
Your
So
nice
you could
OCD packages.
Yeah, you called it OCD. I am a little OCD, but not when it comes to food sometimes. But as you can see, it's broken up a little bit, and there's my style now.
Yeah, no,
but
exactly.
but obviously, if it was in the fridge, it has been out a little bit, so it has a little bit gone soft.
Oh,
so
I
see you staying quite away from here. Is it because you don't want to smell of smoke the rest of the day?
No, I would climb on that grill if I could.
And then what's quite nice is just to hold it there so that fat gets like really crispy and yum.
And when we talk about rendering the fat, it's breaking down the fat, but the most important thing is to get that flavour into the meat, yes?
Exactly, definitely. And I remember my gran used to have a beef fat jar in the fridge. So every time she used to make roasts, and then used to store that fat and use that fat again as dripping on toast or whatever, and to cook steaks again. So you can just no waste.
Absolutely no waste.
And then these I thought were quite nice. These are mealies. I mean, what is a braai without a beautiful corn on the cob, a mealie? And what I've done is I've just braaied them, not even blanched them, popped them on the braai, dusted them with a little bit of parmesan afterwards, and beautiful Woolies sun-dried tomato pesto. You could use basil if you want as well. But it's just
this tastes really, like summer. If you didn't know the season had changed, it really just has. So I know steaks should be enjoyed as you like them. Don't be pressurized into having a steak because someone says that the only way you should eat a steak is completely rare. But in your mind, what is the best way to get the best flavor and texture out of a steak?
The way I cook steaks is definitely at room temperature. In fact, when I buy them, I take them completely out of the packaging and I rest them on a baking tray in the fridge. And so it just creates like a little bit of not a crust, but just a skin, and then at least 2 hours out of the fridge. Just so that you get a beautiful medium rare. It's medium rare inside, but it's still hot. Because you don't want like a hot steak on the outside and then cold inside.
And that being said, so we don't lose too many of these beautiful juices that we've kept. How long do you rest a steak?
I rest it for 15, and I don't mind it room temperature. I never cover it with tin foil because I just feel then it really draws in too much steam and it releases too much of the juices.
Yeah,
so I leave it out, no tin foil. And I do that with all my roasts, my chicken, my beef, whatever,
Oh,
and of course, this is sirloin on the bone, and I really do believe that any meat, whether it's chicken or beef.
Yeah, cook it on the bone, especially
pork,
chicken, yeah.
You know, especially chicken and beef with a steak on the bone is just maximum flavour.
And I love that because
really
the bone also takes in a lot of heat as well and continues cooking from the inside out.
And
so
these
just
are
bear
really
that in
well
mind.
aged, but if you want to buy them and then just keep them in your fridge, then keep them. Hang them on a rack in the back of your fridge on a plastic coated in duck fat, and then even a week later, it's just maturing better and better.
You are a genius. Whatever your official title is, Abby, you are a genius. The keyword is Woolworths. The 33728. You can be creating these Piccalilli butter, beautiful bone-in sirloin steaks yourself.